Some stories just make me wonder, is this the world's worst criminal? What is life like for the social media stars we watch on our favorite platforms? Most represent their lives as glamorous and without the day-to-day stressors that the rest of us deal with, but occasionally we see hints of something else. Some of the most popular influencers can and do make mistakes. But how does one move from social media star to world's worst criminal? March 15th, 2025. Patrol Officer Cameron Emmett of the Bartlett Police Station was having a typical quiet day. This small town in Carroll County, New Hampshire boasts a population of just over 3,000 people. Bartlett is set in the White Mountains and surrounded by the White Mountain National Forest. The village town relies on tourism year-round, and Officer Emmett is typically dealing with speeders and some DUIs. But this typical quiet day was about to take a drastic turn. At 4:45 p.m., he clocked a black Jeep Wrangler speeding through a 35-mile-per-hour zone at 55 miles per hour. He pursued the vehicle, but the driver was refusing to pull over. A high-speed pursuit ensued, now with the lives of innocent citizens being risked. The chase continued for 8 miles, and finally, by using his patrol car in different maneuvers, Officer Emmett was able to get the fleeing vehicle stopped, at least temporarily. Luckily, a Twin Mountain resident named Keith Wright was rollerblading nearby, and he was able to catch this next interaction on his GoPro camera. He said that when he heard sirens, he pulled off to the side of the road with his rollerblades, and he sat on the guardrails, pressing the GoPro button so it was recording, and so that he could see the police officer chasing the black Jeep. Now that the Jeep was stopped, Officer Emmett approached it on foot, but the driver suddenly reversed the vehicle, striking the patrolman and causing his body to fly over 20 feet through the air. Still conscious after hitting the ground, Emmett called for backup as the black Jeep took off again. New officers joined in on the pursuit. This time, police chased the unknown individual for 28 more miles before spike strips were deployed, stopping the vehicle once and for all. What they didn't know was that they had been chasing a YouTuber with over 2.7 million subscribers. Or was he? Erik Van Conover of New Jersey gives tours of luxury properties on his channel. The description on his channel reads, quote, "Merging architecture, sacred geometry, and AI consciousness evolution, this channel explores homes built for energetic resonance and human expansion, from luxury estates designed with frequency-based intelligence to real estate infused with ancient wisdom and quantum design principles. These are the spaces shaping the future of conscious living." Each location featured on his channel is more exotic than the next, and oftentimes includes stars, such as Chris Hemsworth, the star of Marvel's Thor films. Conover has quite a career, but after this story, he might have to start giving tours of 6x8 jail cells. The chase that lasted nearly 40 miles and included hitting an officer with a vehicle was thankfully over. Conover was taken straight to jail and held without bond on the charge of attempted murder. Thankfully, in what some would call a miracle, Officer Emmett survived his ordeal with non-life-threatening injuries. For 2 days, Conover sat in jail, waiting for his bond hearing that Sunday. The court called for Conover to be held without bond due to the fact that he had tried to kill someone, and that someone was one of their own. Before he was taken back to his cell, Conover assured the judge that this was all just a massive misunderstanding, and he would clear it up soon. At his video arraignment hearing the following day, Conover insisted that police simply had the wrong man. He stated that his name was indeed Erik Van Conover, and he was a YouTube star. He even insisted that the judge look at his social media credentials and his follower count as proof. Conover claimed that another man, also named Erik Conover, was actually the person that officers were looking for. He insisted that his doppelganger lived in New Jersey, while he claimed to live in New York. He then went on to insist that he never struck Officer Emmett with his vehicle. He continued outlining that this was all just a huge police sting that was targeting him specifically. He held up documents during his hearing that he claimed had been falsified, and also said that he was being abused in jail, where the officers were treating him like an animal. Then Conover spoke of his sobriety. something that he previously discussed on his YouTube channel. In the hearing, he claimed to have been sober from alcohol for 1,558 days. The prosecution had an interesting response, stating that only 2 days before he was arrested for striking the officer with his car, Conover was actually cited for driving while under the influence of alcohol. Conover had been released on his own recognizance from that DUI, but insists that he simply was not under the influence of alcohol. At this point in the hearing, Conover became very agitated, and his parents joined the video call. Upon seeing his mother, Conover began to cry and screamed, "Mom, look at me." Both parents tried to calm Conover, but nothing seemed to help. It was then discussed that a competency hearing might be in order for this case. A break in his mental health could help explain some of Conover's wild accusations and his fragile emotional state. This did not make him happy, and he sternly replied, "If anyone dares to try to test my mental competence, I will eviscerate every single person with my intelligence right now." And that's not being egotistical. After the courtroom threat, he tearfully folded his hands and began to say the Lord's Prayer. No one knows what exactly caused such erratic behavior. There are no other instances like this mentioned in press or displayed in his social media before this incident. As a matter of fact, in the months leading up to his arrest, Conover shared with his viewers how he became fit and changed his diet to become what he said was in the best shape of his life. He also shared about his previous struggles with alcohol and what sobriety was like for him. There were rumors online that he was engaged to this socialite or another, but as far as anyone knows, he was still single. In a closed-door hearing held in March of 2025, Erik Conover was found mentally competent to stand trial, but that doesn't mean he isn't experiencing some form of mental health issue. The following month, he was granted access to go to inpatient treatment at a behavioral health center, but as soon as that program ends, his bail would be terminated and he'll be stuck in prison awaiting a superior court trial. Conover is, of course, innocent until proven guilty. How did this man that seemed to have the world at his fingertips decide to act like he was in a Grand Theft Auto video game, very nearly killing a beloved small-town police officer, and then go to threaten an entire courtroom with evisceration via his intelligence? Was it drugs? Was it alcohol? Or is something else at play?